Billionaire dad's life shifts after Black Waitress lets his disabled son take the lead in a dance. In the heart of an upscale gala, a billionaire father witnesses a moment that will change everything. His disabled son, who's always been held back by doubt and fear, is invited by a Black waitress to take the lead in a dance. At first, it appears to be a simple, kind gesture. But what happens next will shatter the father's perception of privilege, race, and the true meaning of compassion. Could one small act of kindness really transform their lives forever? This is a story of racism, redemption, and the power of human connection. Stay with us as we unfold this life-altering moment. The story begins in a lavish ballroom where the wealthy and powerful gather to celebrate. The billionaire father, Robert, stands with a drink in hand, his eyes scanning the room. His life has been a series of successes, business empires built, connections forged, and wealth accumulated. He has everything, or so he thinks. At the table next to him, his son, Charlie, sits quietly, alone in his thoughts. Charlie, born with a disability that affects his mobility and speech, has always been somewhat of an outcast in Robert's world of high society. Robert, though he loves his son deeply, doesn't quite understand him. He's uncomfortable with the way others see Charlie, and often he's unsure how to help his son find his place in the world. Then, a Black waitress named Jasmine walks by. She notices Charlie sitting there, looking more out of place than anyone in the room. With a warm smile, she bends down to his level, speaking softly, but with a kindness that Robert doesn't expect in a place like this. "Would you like to dance?" she asks Charlie, her voice gentle but full of respect. Robert watches, stunned. Charlie, surprised by the offer, hesitates for a moment, his eyes wide with uncertainty. But something in Jasmine's gaze, something in her sincerity, gives him the courage to stand up. He takes her hand, and together they begin to move. For the first time, Robert sees his son lead, not follow. In that brief moment, he realizes something he hadn't before. It wasn't just about his son's disability. It was about the way society sees him and how he, in turn, had internalized that view. As Jasmine and Charlie glide across the dance floor, Robert's heart races. What should have been a moment of joy for his son turns into a confusing realization. Jasmine's presence is magnetic. Her graceful movements contrast sharply with the way Robert had always treated his son, as fragile, needing protection and needing to be hidden from the world. The crowd around them begins to take notice, whispers rippling through the room. At first, Robert is proud of his son, but then he sees something unsettling. Some of the guests watch with curiosity, while others do so with judgment. They were all the same people who had looked down on his son without even knowing him. The smiles from the onlookers felt empty, like they were merely humoring a boy who could never truly belong. Robert's discomfort grows as he watches Charlie. The boy is no longer the shy, withdrawn child he has always been. For the first time, Charlie is confident, smiling, moving with ease. Jasmine's touch, her respect for him, has unlocked something within him that Robert had never been able to reach. The power of Jasmine's kindness is undeniable. Still, Robert cannot ignore the feeling that it was this very same kindness that others in the room found so jarring. As the dance continues, Robert is overwhelmed with emotion. He can't help but wonder why he had never seen his son as capable of such moments before. Why had he always kept him in the background, sheltered from the world? Was it because he feared the judgments of others? Or because, deep down, he believed his son wasn't worthy of the same dignity as the others? The music swells, and for a fleeting moment, the dance feels like a dream. But then reality crashes down. One of the guests, a prominent business partner of Robert's, snorts in disdain. "This is ridiculous," he mutters, loud enough for those nearby to hear. "What's next? A charity event for the disabled?" Robert freezes. The words hit him like a punch to the gut. They are harsh, they are cruel, and they are far too familiar. His heart drops as he realizes what's happening. The very people he's spent his life associating with. The ones he's built his empire for have no understanding of what true dignity means. Jasmine notices the shift in the room, her eyes meeting Robert's. She doesn't flinch. Instead, she continues dancing with Charlie, unaffected by the whispers or the stares. Charlie, for his part, grows in stature with every step. The longer he dances, the more he holds his head up high, but Robert is torn. Should he stand up for his son in this moment? Should he confront the man who dared to speak like that? Or should he stay silent, as he's always done, afraid of rocking the boat? Finally, Robert can no longer stay silent. He steps forward, his voice rising above the chatter. Enough, he says, his words firm. You don't get to speak about my son that way. No one does. The room goes silent. For the first time, Robert stands up not just for his son, but for what is right. He's done hiding, done with the silence that has allowed injustice to thrive. As the tension in the room melts away, Robert watches Jasmine and Charlie finish their dance. His son, now filled with a new sense of pride, turns to him with a grin that lights up his face. In that moment, Robert understands. This wasn't just about a dance or a moment of kindness. It was about something more profound. It was about seeing his son for who he truly is. Capable, strong, worthy of respect. Jasmine's simple act of inviting Charlie to dance had unlocked not only a sense of confidence in him, but also in Robert. For the first time, he truly sees the weight of the privilege he's carried and the subtle forms of racism he's ignored all his life. It takes one conversation, one moment of kindness, to shift the course of a lifetime. As the night winds down, Robert's mind is racing. He's left with more questions than answers. How many other moments has he missed in his son's life because of his own biases? How many times has he allowed the world's judgment to dictate his actions? This story is not just about Charlie's dance, but about all the quiet moments in our lives when we choose to see or ignore what's in front of us. How often do we fail to recognize the worth of others because of race, class, or ability? Robert's life has changed, and Charlie's too. And this moment will be the spark that leads to a world where no one has to hide in the shadows, where kindness can break down walls, and where every person can lead, no matter their race or ability. What would the world look like if we all stood up for each other in those quiet moments? Would we still live in a world where difference means less? Or could we finally see each other for who we truly are?